Uganda is one such country much praised for good laws and policies that largely pass as a paper tiger. The good laws stem from the 1995 Constitution that has also been praised as one of the best pieces of legislation the world has ever seen, and from scores of continental international conventions on people's rights. In the National Objectives and Directive Principles of State Policy, Objective 16 under the Social and Economic Objectives talks of recognition of the dignity of persons with disability. Rightly so, because persons with disabilities are 1 in every 5 Ugandans. Statistics from the website of the National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda show that between 7 to 10% of Uganda's population of 29.6 million people as at 2002 are disabled. Of these, about 1,300,000 are persons with disabilities who need one form of rehabilitation or another, and about 60% of these, constituting at least 780,000, are children and young people. Article 35 of the Constitution of Uganda in 1995, and as amended, provides persons with disabilities have a right to respect and human dignity, and the state and society shall take appropriate measures to ensure that they realize their full mental and physical potential. Clause 2 under the same article says, Parliament shall enact laws appropriate for the protection of persons with disabilities. But how much of this have our legislators delivered? A bigger percentage of disabilities developed after birth result from mishandled health complications. Despite attempts to promote the welfare of the disabled in Uganda, issues of discrimination, lack of self-confidence, inadequately trained teachers to handle special needs, education, and lack of critical requirements like the white cane and wheelchairs. No such policies available to compel government to provide such things free to persons with disabilities. The efforts to eliminate common causes of disability are equally challenged by lack of funds, doubted will, and the absence of clear policy on disability. How much, for example, does the Equal Opportunities Act provide for the improvement of welfare of PWDs? How about the implementation of such provisions it provides? Well, of this, many are unable to gain access to basic services including health care and justice, and they have been largely ignored in post-conflict reconstruction efforts. Disabilities often equated with poor health. However, people with disabilities should have equal opportunity for good health. Most childhood disability results from preventable causes, in particular immunizable diseases and the inadequate treatment of common illnesses. The commonest disabilities in the country are physical disabilities, epilepsy, mental retardation, and cerebral palsy, hearing, and visual impairments. The Uganda Human Rights Commission report on disability in Uganda confirmed that disability was indeed a multidimensional issue, not only a health problem, but a social one too. The report further highlights that according to the World Health Organization (WHO) findings, only 15 to 20% of the PWDs in Uganda receive actual health service.
Ensure that they give us reasonable accommodation when giving birth, because we are like any other Ugandan. We are human beings who deserve human dignity and respect. We should be treated as of right, not as of charity, while accessing medical services.
Actually, even before the attitude of the health workers, the attitude of us, our own attitudes as women with disabilities, we never take everyone to be positive. Whoever you look at, you think they have negative attitudes about you, so you end up developing a loss of esteem and disliking almost everyone in the community, including the health workers. So you find yourself going for services, instead of talking to someone nicely, you know, the kind of approach you give the person determines the way that person is also going to deal with you.
The most recent census put Uganda's total population at 24.6 million. Using the WHO recommended 10% of this figure to estimate the number of disabled people, one arrives at a crude figure of 2.4 million disabled persons in the country. But estimates of people with specific disabilities suggest even larger numbers. Just like Boaz Muhumuza, the Disability Rights Program Officer for Open Society Initiative for Eastern Africa and the Open Society Persons highlights that persons with disabilities have much poorer access to care as those without disabilities. He narrates the experience.
The right to health is central to everybody's living, and we very well know the challenges that everybody is facing in accessing health services in Uganda. But when it comes to persons with disabilities, it could be a double or triple marginalization around the right to health. For example, if we look for the easier catch, for example, physical accessibility to health institutions, you'll find that most of the health institutions, health centers, hospitals have challenges with physical accessibility. They have stairs everywhere. If you want to get into a ward and you're using, for example, a wheelchair, you must be carried. You cannot go to the doctor's room because either there are stairs or the entrance is too small for you to enter with a wheelchair.
We make sure that the lifts are working. The hospital was not built, it was built a long time ago, but it was assumed that every patient would be moving in the lift and the health workers would be moving on the stairs. But the central lift, which actually goes to the labor ward, is working, and every patient, every person with disability is met at the customer service center, given a wheelchair, and actually they are taken up to the labor ward. And when you go to the labor ward, you'll find that there are specialized beds for them.
A report by the National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda, NUDIPU, on the implementation of the Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities, UNCRPD, points out flaws that delivery of health services be the same type and range as that provided to other people. It also requires that PWDs are given full and informed consent on medical treatment. However, governments are specifically mandated to do more for PWDs to ensure equal access to health care than for other people. In Uganda, persons with disabilities have been faced with difficulties to attain services mostly during pregnancy. In most health centers, there are no provisions for pregnant mothers, leading to an increase in maternal-related complications among pregnant mothers. This has been blamed on minimal provisions in the health strategic plan that seems to have ignored the persons with disabilities. This is because in most African countries, disability concerns are often sidelined during policy making. Consequently, the resultant service delivered is inadequate or inappropriate.
But implementation becomes a problem. First and foremost, it begins at the planning level, budgeting, and then prioritizing the programs. In most cases, persons with visual impairment are not involved right from the beginning in planning, budgeting, programming, and the rest. So it becomes a problem. Whenever you are advocating for something, they will tell you we don't have a budget for that. We don't have a budget line for that. But if inclusion is the way to go, then people should be involved right from the beginning, right from the onset, in the policy making, in the programming, budgeting and planning.
In terms of disabilities, 300,000 people in Uganda have hearing impairments, while 250,000 are blind, the causes for which are largely preventable. The population of 60 years and above has increased from 4% to 6% between 1991 and 2002. Despite increasing demands, geriatric services are non-existent. Currently, only 2% of the 25% of people with disabilities have access to rehabilitation services. Uganda has adopted community-based rehabilitation (CBR) as the main strategy to reach PWDs with services. Death from road traffic accidents has more than doubled over the past 10 years, from 992 in 1993 to 1,996 in 2003. Uganda has the second highest accident burden, with over 20,000 road accidents annually and 2,334 fatalities in 2008 alone. In 1998, Uganda lost 151.7 billion shillings through road traffic crashes accumulated from the cause of fatalities, injuries, and vehicle damage. The cost for 2003 is estimated at over 300 billion shillings. Globally, the cost of accidents lies between 1 to 2% of the world's GNP.